Hi everyone, it's Dwyllis, Kiwi Scrapper from New Zealand, and I'm back today to share a video with you on an altered box. I haven't done an altered box for quite a while, and I think I've only done 2 others before. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. So I came across this lovely lidded box, and probably a few weeks ago now in a thrift shop. I bought it for, I don't know, $1 or something like that. It was varnished wood. It had a name on the front, carved into the front of it, and so I decided that I could do something with this box. And I'm going to show you the bottom first. And I've noticed actually that I put these on, these iridescent glass stones, should we say, and I've just noticed that that one in the corner has come off, so I've got to re-glue that one on. But I've got a whole jar of them, so I'll match them up and find them. So anyway, the first thing I did was I gessoed over this twice, and then I painted in a pink to match the dress of the image that you'll see shortly on the front. I think I put 2 layers of the pink on as well, and then over top of that I sprayed one of the Lindy sprays, and I think it's called Magenta Gold, but I'm not sure. Has a lovely sort of a goldy sheen to it. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to pick it up on that. Probably not. Anyway, I did that on the sides, the bottom and the top. The top and the sides are mainly covered, so you can just see it on the bottom now. So here we go. And I just love the way this turned out. I really do. It's got me, I didn't want to finish this project. I just wanted to keep adding to it, and I was quite sad when it was finished. And then I decided, well, I've got to find another altered box so that I can do another one, because I just think it's a bit wobbly at the moment because that foot has fallen off, so I had to do something about that shortly. So anyway, as I say, I did all that gessoing and that painting and that spraying, and then I used this image. Now, this image is of a young late Victorian actress, and I knew her name, but I've forgotten it. I have many images of her. She is just, for me, she just epitomizes Victorian beauty, and there's a vulnerability to her, and almost like a fairy-like look to her face. And she has the most beautiful long reddish brown hair. It's just gorgeous. But anyway, there she is, and this is her dress. Of course, I put a few little stickles across there. I smudged one yesterday because this is the second time I've done this filming. The first time it wouldn't upload, so, well, it wouldn't even transfer from my camera to the computer in actual fact. So I smudged those while they were still wet, so I've got to reapply too. But anyway, I did the usual thing. I layered up a frame around her, and the frame is virtually different on all sides. And there's several layers to it, but they're covered up now. You can't see them. Then I went round the outside of the box. You can't see a lot of that. Up here you perhaps can see. Let me just see if I can zoom in at the top there. Yes, you can probably see on the zoom that there is another piece under there. There's a piece over top of it, an embroidered piece. Over top of that there's another piece. Now this bottom piece I coffee dyed. This is just left in the ivory, and this is a piece that, there's an embroidered piece that came in that coffee sort of tone colours. So there's the 3 layers on there. And we have to layer things up, ladies, because we all know that to get dimension we have to layer. So it's a shame, you know, to cover up stuff, to cover up pretty laces, and I always try to leave a spot where I can see them. Like here I can see them again. But you know, at the end of the day, as I just said, if you only have one layer, your project is a flat. It's got no dimension to it. So you have to layer upon layer in order to get that height and that dimension. Because people say, well, why put them on and then cover them all up? But it's the same with painting. But it's a part of a process, and when I started to paint this box, I had no idea of what I was going to do. I had a clear idea that I knew the image I wanted to use, but I had no idea from then on what I was about to do. I wanted it to be Victorian. I wanted it to have a vintage look to it. And apart from that, yeah, no clear idea of what to do. So the painting of it started the process. And then I thought about, you know, would I put paper on? Would I paint it? Yeah, you know, those of you who've crafted for years, it's all part of a process, isn't it? So anyway, getting off that subject, back onto the subject at hand. Oh dear. Right, over here, it's Saturday morning here, and it's a lovely morning, and I've got to work the weekend. That's why it's a lovely morning. So there's a number of layers in here. There's one larger doily underneath everything, and then on top of the painting, and then over top of that there's a round doily here. There's some ivy leaves tucked in here, and around here. Over top of that, there's this came from a fabric placement mat, a white one that I coffee dyed. Then I started grouping up the flowers, and this is a wild orchid craft. These aren't wild orchid craft. This beautiful sugary coated glistening rose, and it was handmade, came from Evelyn. I think it's Evelyn 8861, but I'm not sure. She's in America. Her and I did a personal swap a couple of years ago now, and she sent me 4 of these. Absolutely beautiful. And I think this might possibly be the first one I've used. I've been aching to use them. If that can be described as a part of a crafting passion, that you ache to use something. This one here and this one, I have no clear idea where they came from. Possibly the same person gifted those to me in a swap, and my apologies, because you know my brain has just turned to mush as I stand here. This one I stickled up in a similar colour to the rose. There's a little fabric one behind there which has got a little diamante in the middle. It's one of those Kansashi ones. This is seam binding, which has all been crinkled up and put into a rose, and then I've arranged that over there. Here there's a tassel. Oops, I'm just getting out of frame a wee bit there. There's the crinkled up seam binding rose. Here there's a tassel. This came off a cushion that I bought from an op shop, and I no longer wanted the cushion, so this had all this beautiful fringing all around it. In fact, that's really what I bought it for. So I just cut all of them off, and it's the first, I think it might be the first time I've used one. Glass bead there, clear pink glass bead, and matches very well to the dress. Okay, I'm out of frame again. I've put a beautiful little stone in here that's all glittery and got pinky and iridescent colours in it. That I'm pretty sure came from Patricia, who's Pat S over in Belgium. There's the iridescent stone here, which is like clear glass stone, which has got the iridescent tones in it. Those are what I used for the feet below. Let's have a look. There's various things. There's yeah, there is lace underneath that. I put this fringing across here that went right the way around in a curve. Let's have a look. There's a rose here. This is the rose. Let me just zoom out slightly. Yeah, there's a rose here, flesh toned, that I cut out of a larger piece. Goes right over here. There was 2 roses I cut out. On top of that one, I put this white one that's got the gold flecks through it. And again, we've got down here, we've got some more ivy leaves, and the ivy leaves going right around here. The look of it was to mimic the look of like ivy growing all over the box. Okay, so in this ivy I've put some flat back pearls in a sort of a cinnamon tone. I think that's the last of them now. I've got the string of pearls, ivory pearls, going here and coming up into the flowers, going across there. In amongst this bunch of flowers I've got resin ones here, this one, and this beautiful iridescent pearlized one. Okay, around the whole box I've put this this white and gold Chinese braiding. It's a very delicate braid, that one. Can't remember where I got that one from. I may have found it in a shop. This little group of flowers, mainly wild orchid craft roses of various colours and sizes. That one I've stickled up. There is a doily underneath it, the same doily as that one over there. On top of that, there's another piece out of a coffee stained fabric placemat, and that's all around there. That was a flower shape that I cut out. On top of that, there's one of these lovely iridescent stones again, the clear ones. There's a key here. I'm pretty sure that key came from Irene, Seriously Scrapping. Beautiful little iridescent rose down there. And let me say, there's a fabric, cinnamon brown fabric rose here. What else have we got? Oh, this, I made a ribbon out of a scrap of pale pink tulle. Very delicate. Oh, not a ribbon, a bow. Okay, there's pearls coming out of there. Now we go to the top corner. Whoops, the daisy, I need to put that foot back on. It's a bit like us trying to go around with 1 foot. With 1 foot missing. Okay, so not quite, I know, because this one's got 3 feet to balance on. Over in this little corner, there's some more of the, let's zoom back a bit, there's some more of the ivory coming out of here with the cinnamon coloured pearls. There's half a doily underneath it. It's not even a doily actually, I think it's just a scrap that I cut out of the same crochet placemat. And here there's some of the flesh toned roses that were on the other side. More ivy coming out here. This is a resin flower, and 3 little tiny pink flowers that came out of a little spray I had. Then I popped in some there's an ivy leaf that came from with my guest design team package ages ago from Lily Lineker, and another of those gorgeous little iridescent roses, wild orchid craft rose, some little pearls coming out of there. This here was actually a flower that I got off eBay, and it was too bulky for this project, or it's quite a bulky flower, so I actually unravelled it and I used that as a box pleated trim. So around the side of the box, hope you can see that. I'll zoom back out a bit further. That's better. I put some gold scalloping along this edge with a fine brush, paintbrush, and then just did a straight line on the top lid. And then there's this fringing. I think that came from Irene, Seriously Scrapping in Australia. This is a heart from my stash, a resin heart, and some larger flatback pearls. Then this trim, I'm pretty sure, also came from Irene. Thank you, Irene, if you're watching. It was a much wider trim. I just cut those pieces off. And then just on the hair, she had a tiny little pink rose in her hair, so I just put this little, sorry, I just jolted the camera. I just put that little piece of gold bling, which also came from Irene, well, about 2 years ago, I think. Now inside, I haven't done a thing. I've just left it plain, and the reason is I want to use it for storing pieces of resin and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not going. This has got a name scratched on it by a child. It says Elliot. Don't know who that is. Probably something at school. So yes, I'm leaving that plain inside, because if you paint it, even if you put paper on it, and then I might actually put a bit of paper at the bottom. I don't know. Now I can't get the lid back on, because that's what happens when you're videoing. This is just, I mean, I've never had any trouble putting this lid back on. There, it's on. So really, I love this box. Love, love, love it. And I'm looking forward to doing another one. I'd like to do a fairy one next. So just giving everybody a clear look at everything. There's those there. Moving around here. I hope you're not making everybody seasick when I'm doing this. That little lot in the corner there. And then we come up to the other little lot. Okay. So, thank you for watching, everyone. Bye for now.